Fatal car crash compounds a Mamaroneck family's grief.
Property revaluation, a hot spring issue. We'll have an interview.
The I-95 noise barrier is irking some Mamaroneck residents.
Annual music marathon revisits the high school.
The Larchmont Run results are in.
And the news on the Hammock School teaching team, all on this edition of Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News.
Welcome to this edition of Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News. I'm Alicia Myro.
And I'm Roger Norum. Our top story. We turn to Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Jenny Neumeister with a story of a tragedy.
Last Thursday afternoon, the younger McCarrick boy was killed instantly when his car hit a tree on the parkway in the Greenhaven section of Mamaroneck. According to Chief Ed Flynn of the Mamaroneck Village Police Department, the younger McCarrick boy, who is the brother of Matt McCarrick, the New Rochelle policeman who has been in the news lately, apparently had an argument with his dad, left the house in his car, damaging the garage on his way out, and gained a speed of about 75 miles an hour on the parkway when he struck a tree. Chief Flynn indicated there were no signs of skid marks, which indicated he did not lose control of his car, and the police are investigating as to exactly what happened. The EMS called for the jaws of life, but to no avail. For Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, this is Jenny Neumeister.
Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Sven Ume spoke with Phyllis Wittner, the newest member of the Mamaroneck Town Council, on the latest developments in the town and about her first month on the Town Council.
Actually, I've been going into the town. I'm very fortunate that I have space I share in the town clerk's office, and I pretty much go in 5 days a week, not full days, but for many hours. And it gives me an opportunity to study the issues and to really get involved.
We should also just briefly talk about what happened at the last meeting. And I think there was an issue about trees or tree preservation.
Yes, the town had a tree preservation law, and what we did at the last meeting was to amend it to do two things, really, to include 2 members of the public in the commission. Up to this point, it's been made up of the building inspector, highway superintendent, and environmental coordinator, and now we have 2 volunteers. And at the meeting, we have appointed 2 very experienced people. What this will allow us to do is to they will be responsible for actually keeping an inventory of the trees in the town and advising also on the correct species and placement. And so this is a great opportunity for us now.
And I guess just very quickly, because we're almost at the end, another question that was discussed was about parking, overnight parking.
That's right. The regulations have been changed so that people who have to park between 3 and 6 a.m. Now can have 12 permits a year. They're good for 3 days, but they can only apply 12 times during the year. And if you want me to go into some detail, there are really 2 types of permit. One is when you anticipate the need, and the other is emergency. And you have to go down to the police station.
To the police station,
yes.
At the town center.
That's correct.
Okay.
The sound barriers are continuing to be built on the I-95, the New England Thruway, much to the delight of residents along Baldwin Place in the village of Mamaroneck. However, the sound barrier being built on the south side of the Thruway from Underhill Avenue to Fenimore Road has some residents on the north side of the Thruway opposite the barrier location raising some concerns. The Daily Times quotes some residents on Highview Street and Rockledge Road worried the newly constructed barriers may act as a buffer for those on the south side of the Thruway, but it may also act as a sounding board to the residents across the Thruway, bouncing the truck and vehicle traffic noise off the barrier right into their backyards. and they are now expressing a desire for a barrier to also be built on the north side of the thruway. Ina Rhodes, a Highview resident, is quoted saying, "Maybe we just need a barrier on both sides." That's not likely to happen, though. Construction is supposed to begin later this year on the barriers, a project championed by State Assemblyman Ron Tochi, who lobbied the $2 million package that is also funding barriers in Pelham and New Rochelle. The Thruway Authority is being asked to take sound meter readings on the north side of the thruway before the barrier construction in order to compare them with readings after the barriers are put up. Stay tuned.
If you're patient, you'll soon appreciate the construction that has taken over I-95 in one of Larchmont's train station parking lots. As part of the reconstruction of the Interstate 95, the State Thruway Authority is paying to upgrade the railroad station parking deck. One fine day, you'll see 100 extra spaces, a new surface, and lights. The first stage of work will continue through mid-August and limits Chatsworth Avenue to one lane of traffic in each direction. The Chatsworth Avenue entrance to the train station parking lot will be closed, so commuters will have to use the Myrtle Avenue entrance or get dropped off at the Depot Way Tunnel. In addition, stairs off Chatsworth leading to the train platforms will be closed, and no left turns will be permitted onto North Avenue or Railroad Way. We'll be bringing you updates on the construction throughout the summer.
State Thruway Authority took away 6 or 7 parking spots on this block for no purpose, doesn't accomplish any purpose at all, except to take visits away from these establishments. The mayor of Larchmont and the police department were good enough to come over and give us back 2 spots, which we appreciate very much. But in the meantime, these other businesses are still being hurt. The restaurant, the cleaner, and the gizmo shop are still being damaged, not to mention the businesses on the other side of the street.
Sounds like it's going to be a real mess there around the parking lot there in Larchmont and the train station, Chatsworth, and all summer long, at least,
Not pretty, no.
You may have been reading in the papers about moves to revalue property and assessments, and it's more than just talk now. Total tax refunds in Westchester amounted to nearly $50 million last year, according to a recent report in the Daily Times. Up-county towns and villages have mostly opposed the reassessments simply because they don't have the problem to the extent that we do here in Lower Westchester. But as more people move into rural areas, the up-county officials will experience the same problems. To find out what it's all about, Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Jenny Newmeister spoke with Mamaroneck Village Clerk Treasurer Lenny Verastro.
We've been hit with a large number of large tax certiorari's from commercial property owners, and I mean, it's been averaging close to $400,000 a year. I think our all-time high was like over $500,000 we had a refund in property taxes.
That's a lot. That's a lot. Now let me ask you this. How do you see it impacting the municipal budget?
Well, it really has a double impact when you refund the tax and then, of course, their assessment's lowered. So what it tends to do is it shifts the tax burden from the commercial property owners that are getting the reduction to all the rest of the taxpayers, especially residential taxpayers in the village.
Now let me ask you, does the taxpayer in general out there realize that they are subsidizing those that have received tax refunds and lower assessments?
Quite honestly, I don't think they do, Jenny, because the only impact they get is that they know when the budget is passed how much their taxes are going up, but they really don't realize how much this impacts them.
Bottom line, you support a reval and reassessment?
Yes, I do. I think it's the only way to go. Mamaroneck's assessment roll is over 30 years old, and it's very difficult to do it on your own, so the only way to go is a county-wide reassessment.
Another insurance company battle in the works. This time it's over Lyme disease patients. More from Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Catherine Kaywood.
Merle, thank you for being with us tonight. Last week we discussed the symptoms of Lyme disease, and I gathered that there are over 1,000 people here in Westchester who have it.
I don't have the numbers exactly, but there are several thousand people who have Lyme disease, and probably more. Those are the diagnosed cases. There were probably many undiagnosed cases.
I understand that if you find it in its early stages, it's rather easy to cure, but what happens if one doesn't find it in the early stages? stages?
Well, if Lyme is not diagnosed or treated adequately in the early stages, then it can develop onto the second stage and then finally to chronic Lyme disease. And once it's chronic Lyme disease, it's almost impossible to cure.
Recently, we've read that people are having trouble with their insurance coverage regarding the Lyme disease.
Yes, the insurance companies prefer not to pay. They seek out, well, that's the way to make money. And they seek out consultants that tell them that it's cured in 3 weeks, because there's a lot of ignorance and a lot of disagreement about Lyme because there's very little research done. And they'll seek out a doctor who says it can be cured quickly and give a patient short treatment, which will work in the early stages but does not work in the later stages.
So your own story for this?
Well, my insurance company did not want to pay for IV treatment, and they sent me to a physician who had written an article in a medical magazine, which I happen to read the medical magazines, and he had written an article that he didn't really believe in Lyme and didn't really believe people were sick, so I knew I would lose my insurance if I went to him. And what I did is I asked for my records, which I'm entitled to by law, and he wouldn't send them to me. Finally, I got the government after him. It took a year, and I got my records. And then they wanted to send me to more doctors because this doctor equivocated, because when I went there with a tape recorder and my husband. So I was very forceful with this doctor. And so they wanted me to send me to more doctors in order to get to be told that I didn't need continuous treatment.
So if a person here in Westchester wants more information, if they're having this same problem, where can they go for help?
Well, it's very, very difficult. They've got to be aggressive, but I'm part of an organization that's working politically to take care of this problem, and it's going to be difficult, but I think that you have my telephone number on the screen it's the Action League for Lyme, and we're working politically, and we're trying to help people get their insurance.
The senior class of Rhinebeck is getting advice on college life. The story from Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Carol Martin.
Out of a graduating class of 61 at Rhinebeck High School, 93% are attending college, with 82% planning a four-year education. While all seniors are trying to squeeze in last-minute memories, and most are not yet ready to leave high school friends behind, the guidance department is trying to ease their transition by holding its first senior seminar. The workshop addresses college survival skills, date rape, stress management, and academic success. Students were advised to set ground rules with their roommates early on, and for security, students should take the same precautions that they would in Rye, Mamaroneck, or Manhattan. Never walk home alone at night, use common sense, and keep an open mind when getting to know students from other cultures or sexual orientations. It could be a shock to go from a conservative community where everyone at school knows each other to a school where the student may be one of thousands. Standards of behavior will have to be set for alcohol use, drugs, and promiscuity based on the individual student's feelings. Preventing date rape was an important topic and stressed abstinence from alcohol and strong communication skills. While students from all our communities are scattering throughout the country, we wish them well on their journey to adulthood and a fulfilling career. For Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, this is Carol Martin.
Saturday, May 18th was the day this year's Larchmont Run was held. It was a rather wet morning, but this did not deter the runners, nor our reporters, Alicia Myro, Jeff Montanero, and Sven Ome. Here's their report.
This year's Larchmont Run took place on a rather wet and chilly Saturday morning. The first event was the 1 mile run. We show you scenes from the start and the finish line. The more serious competition was the 5K run, about 3.5 miles. Start and finish were at Flint Park. One of the competitors was a member of our news team, John Manning, and Alicia Myro spoke to him before the run.
John, how much prep work did it take for you to participate in today's event?
Well, I run 3 or 4 days a week, so yeah, I'm kind of prepared for it all year round. So it's being a 3 mile race is kind of about what I run or around what I run every day. So it wasn't any extra training that I had to put in. I think you'll see most of the people who are doing the 5K probably run that much every time they do run.
They run pretty regularly.
Yeah.
Did you eat anything special last night to give you a little boost of energy for today's run?
Actually, no. I kind of forgot. I don't really eat anything, in particular. I just, had
Well, we
pizza.
just hear about all those spaghetti dinners that happened the night before a big race.
I actually had Sal's last night for dinner. So.
All right, we're promoting something in the village of Mamaroneck.
Exactly.
There's nothing wrong with that. Well, I wish you a lot of good luck and have fun out there.
Thank you.
Finally, the runners took off from Flint Park down Larchmont Avenue into the Manor, all the way to Manor Park. At the finish line, Flint Park, we got a shot of the first 3 to finish the race. At the end of this program, we will show you scenes from the presentation of the prizes to the winners in the different age groups. We also had a chance to talk to Kate Bialo, who once again organized the annual run with the help of many other volunteers.
I'd like to mention the sponsors. Each of our sponsors, corporate sponsors, has put in $500 each, which helps defray the cost of the T-shirts, the refreshments, the entertainment. And these are our sponsors this year: Acura of Westchester, Chase Manhattan Bank, Larchmont Vision Care, Larchmont Station Taxi, and Total Fitness Center. And a lot of these are repeat sponsors. They've been very supportive of the run, and we're very pleased to have them, and we hope that people will show their appreciation by patronizing their businesses. In addition, the Larchmont Department of Public Works, the Larchmont Fire Department, the Larchmont Police Department, all of these groups provide people on the day of the race, and they do a terrific job to make sure the barricades are out. Particularly the DPW did a great job this year getting the barricades out. The police and fire department help with the safety aspect to make sure that cars don't go past the barricades. We also have the volunteer ambulance corps that comes, so we've got ambulances on hand if anything happens. My husband, Ken Bialo, helps with everything on the morning of the run. The Recreation Committee is a group of volunteers. The Village of Larchmont Recreation Committee, those are the people who did all the late registration and who help with the finish line and so forth. We also have members of the Key Club from Mamaroneck High School, headed by Mike Sedano, and they provide 15 to 20 kids from the high school every year who help out, which is super.
Well, despite the rain, it looked like it was a lot of fun, was it?
It was a lot of fun, and people were very excited. It was, I liked doing the story a lot. It was very enjoyable.
I must get to the Larchmont Run next year.
I'm going to do it next year, I promise. Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Joan Brescia gives us the details of the Hommick School teaching team. Joan?
It appears that the Mamaroneck Elementary School system has always been supportive of team teaching efforts, and next year 6th graders at the Hommick School will benefit from a carefully planned team teaching program. Sheila Cohen and Richard Zafnis have been jointly relaying knowledge at the Central School since 1978. According to student reviews, Richard and Sheila are an effective team. Richard Zafnis teaches math and science, while Sheila Cohen handles the social studies units. It is a highly individualized and focused program. The children are rewarded when they reach their academic goals and often forget they are learning because they're having so much fun. One end-of-the-year activity includes a 3-day trip to Washington. While there, Representative Nita Lowy will take the children to the House of Representatives, the White House, and the Vietnam Memorial. Students helped finance this trip by selling pizza and ice cream throughout the year. Both Richard and Sheila have been teaching for 29 years. They don't know when they will retire, but they do know it will be together.
The Task Force on Hunger, and one of the key people working on the project is Mary Davis of Mamaroneck. She spoke with Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Joe Haviland.
The Larchmont Mamaroneck Hunger Task Force operates a food pantry in Mamaroneck, and we give out big bags of non-perishable groceries, mainly canned items, along with some bread and bananas, to about 250 area families.
That's interesting. Larchmont Mamaroneck Hunger Task Force. The word hunger, it's not something that you think about in Larchmont or Mamaroneck, do you?
I didn't when I first moved here, but it quickly became evident when I started working at the food pantry that there are many families that are having to choose between paying rent and eating.
Mm-hmm. Now, how did you get involved with the program? And actually, before we get into the answer to that, if people are interested in volunteering, and that's what you're here for tonight, correct? To solicit volunteers for the program, how would they get in touch with you?
They can call the food pantry at 833-1806.
Okay. And now, why are you looking for volunteers? Haven't you had volunteers
Well, we
all
have
summer?
lots of volunteers. Every time we operate, which is twice a month, we need 75 volunteers. And summertime, many of the church and temple groups that volunteer and school groups aren't available, and many of our regular volunteers are on vacation. So we have many jobs that we need to fill.
Terrific. Now, your involvement with the program, how long have you been part of it?
3.5 years since its beginning.
And have you seen the need for hunger increase in the community?
It's increased about 10% every year.
Interesting. Okay, in terms of volunteers now, again, they can call that number 833-1806. How often will they be needed?
They can volunteer as frequently or as little as they would like. Many of the jobs are great for families, so we really encourage family volunteering.
And you're looking for volunteers twice a month, correct?
They can volunteer just once, or they can volunteer each time we operate, which is twice a month.
Okay.
There are many good Samaritans in our area, and Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Lisa Manning spoke with one of them.
Many ladies, special ladies and Larchmont ladies, special Mrs. Patty Piselli, live in Mamaroneck in Prospect Avenue. 334 in Prospect Avenue. Mrs. Patty Pastelli, very wonderful lady. All the time bring me nice clothes.
So a lot of neighbors and friends.
Oh yes, Miss Antonetta Maroni lived in Pleasantville. Sent me so beautiful thing.
Oh, very nice. And does your great niece help you then?
Oh yes,
she does
me many times.
Okay.
Sometimes Stephanie help me, when mother coming, ask me for help, bring children, Stephanie, listen, well, package clothes, help me package clothes for infant or junior.
In summary, so what do you do so that everyone can know and possibly do the same?
Well,
what do you do in general? You help other people.
Everybody.
You help everybody.
Everybody.
A couple weeks ago, we reported on a new website introduced by the Metropolitan Transportation Authority. Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Sven Ome tells us about another new location on the internet.
Westchester County has now joined the increasing number of organizations and businesses that have established a presence on the World Wide Web. Westchester County's homepage has the address www.co.westchester.ny.us. A wide list of information about the county is available at this site. You can find a profile of the county government, various telephone hotline numbers, a listing of the county parks, the county's golf courses, and other recreational areas.
A Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News weatherman, Ed Muir, is more than a little red-faced this week, especially after last week's dog days of spring. With an explanation and a look at what this week's weather is going to be like here in Larchmont and Mamaroneck is Ed Muir. Ed?
Well, now that we've gotten over the March to August in one day weather pattern, we can get on with the spring that we've never had. A cold front that sagged to our south during Memorial Day weekend is going to keep us a little bit cooler than we have been, but since we've been so far above normal, that's going to leave our temperatures fairly typical for this time of year. However, it looks like the front is going to sort of stall out and become a stationary front, and if it's a little bit too close to us, it could keep us in some cloudiness. On the flip side of that, though, it could eventually become a warm front and then move north and give us some heat. And that was the same kind of scenario that gave us the 55 to 90 degree swing in one day. And if you were watching the weather around that time, you'll notice that I was not the only one who was wrong on that. So things can change very quickly around here. But anyway, getting back to our 5-day forecast, it looks something like this. A little bit cooler than we've been seeing the last week or so. Monday, mostly cloudy, maybe partly to mostly cloudy. It's sort of tough to tell, but about 70 degrees. We should partially clear out, though, on Tuesday. A little bit cooler, high of about 68 degrees. Wednesday looks nice, though, mostly sunny, high of about 72. Milder still for Thursday, partly cloudy, high of 75, but we do see a chance for showers. Ending up the week on Friday, high of 75 degrees. So Memorial Day sort of started the season on a mixed note, but one of the things that the vagaries of spring has done is all of a sudden give us a lot of pollen the last couple of weeks. It was a late allergy season, but now we're really getting into it with a vengeance. And after this crazy winter and spring, it looks like the only thing left for us now will be the locusts. They'll be here next week, but again, don't quote me on that. So till next time, for Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Ed Muir. Enjoy the weather.
A seminar on house design. It's coming up at the Forest Park Church. With details, here's Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Glenna Gray.
You'll find out at a day of design that you can use wreaths almost anywhere. And Susan Celestino, the owner of Decoration Day in Larchmont, is going to teach people how to make these gorgeous wreaths that she sells in her store.
Everyone can learn to make this gorgeous wreath. Oh, fantastic. What else can we learn in order to change our home?
Oh, we're going to have experts in all areas of design, inside and outside. We're going to have architects, interior designers. We'll have an expert panel to answer questions from the audience, and an exhibit of all sorts of products and services for your home.
Oh, a panel. That sounds interesting. So I can ask any question I wish. If I have a 2-room house, I can turn it into a 4-room house.
Well, there are ways to make rooms do double duty so that you could get the use of 4 rooms out of 2.
And how long will this seminar last?
Well, it takes the whole day, but you can come and go as you wish. It starts at 9:30 in the morning and goes until 3 in the afternoon.
And it's only $30?
And it includes breakfast and lunch, and $20 is tax deductible.
Oh, that's very, very nice. I'm looking forward to seeing this wonderful day because I am enthralled with that. What about the tiles? I saw you.
Oh, we did.
Were they bathroom tiles?
Well, actually, the tiles, if you use your imagination, you can use them just about anywhere in the house. And Sonia of Sonia Designs in Larchmont is going to have a display of the custom tiles that she produces in her store.
Fine. So there's something for everyone on May 31st at the Forest Park Avenue Church, otherwise the Presbyterian Church, 9:30 in the morning. Get your tickets now. They are still available.
Yeah.
For a tasty story that's good to the last lick, let's go to Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Jamie Stein, and keep your eye out for someone familiar.
Actually, I was approached by Ed Stein, and he asked me if I would have an interest in trying this chortle product in our ice cream, either as a topping or an additive. In ice cream speak, when you put any form of cake or cookie in ice cream, it's called a bisque, and we've had a lot of success with bisques, Oreo, and other flavors. So therefore, I was very receptive to it. We tried it in an ice cream in this experiment around the holidays, and it worked well, but it needed a little pizzazz. We threw a little bit of colored chocolate chips in it, and that just took off. The major ingredient is chortle, and we use it...
Vanilla ice cream?
Vanilla ice cream at this point. We are going to use it in mint next. We have found that this flavor is a little more targeted for children, and
I'm sure adults love it too.
They do, but we sell more of it to the children. So what we want to do is try with mint, because we find that mint being the second most popular selling flavor other than vanilla. So we're going to try mint chortle next. But right now we're carrying chortle as the flavor of the month because we've had a lot of success with it.
We decided that chortle was a perfect fit for us here at Longford's because it's fun and unique, and that's what people look for when they come to Longford's. It's something that's high in quality and something that they'll enjoy, and it doesn't really matter what age you are as long as you're a kid in some way. You'd enjoy the chortle.
So when did you decide to make it flavor of the month?
Really when we had great reaction to the chortles in the bag and also as a topping.
How does it taste? I think they like it. I feel like laughing. There is a lot of chortling going on in our neighborhood.
These things are really good.
We're going to give it a taste test, an objective taste test here.
I like them.
Will it be a hit or a miss?
I think I'm headed over for some of that ice cream.
Well, you got a lot of them, 135 pieces inside.
Yeah, I know, I like it. Not bad at all.
Chortles. And there's a Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News connection to them. A music marathon coming to Mamaroneck. With details, here's Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Sven Ome.
Mamaroneck High School's Music Honor Society will hold its 3rd annual 10-hour music marathon on Saturday, June 1st from 8 in the morning to 6 in the evening on the athletic field on the Boston Post Road side of the school. In case of rain, the event will be moved to the McLean Auditorium. All of the proceeds from the event will be shared by the Dan Bengeli Scholarship Fund, the Multiple Sclerosis Foundation, and the Tri-M National Music Honor Society. Everybody is invited to come to the music marathon. Anyone who would like to make a donation is asked to stop by the refreshment booth on the day of the concert. And here's what you can hear if you come to this year's concert marathon. The event will feature the concert choir, the men's and women's mixed ensembles, concert and jazz bands, the orchestra, soloists, and a few selections from the Hammocks and Central School musical groups. Food will be sold throughout the day. The music marathon will be held on June 1st from 8 in the morning until 6 in the evening.
And don't forget this Saturday afternoon, June 1st, the grand open house of the Weaver Street Firehouse in all its renovated glory. That's after 1 p.m. Saturday afternoon, June 1st at the Weaver Street Firehouse.
And the winners are, the LMC-TV Awards Night was May 16th, and Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Sharon Levy has the details.
May 16th was the big night for volunteers at LMC-TV. The evening gala honors the activities of all the volunteers in our area who provide the programs that you can watch on channels 14, 15, and 16. The festivities began at 7 p.m. at the Emlyn Theater with a silent auction of items sponsored by local businesses. This was followed by the awards presentation program, which featured 4 show segments. The 4 show segments were a dance performance by the Steffi Nawson Dance Company, Robert Silverman, a jazz pianist of the Music School of Westchester, the Metro Fire Department, a group of Mamaroneck High School students and musicians who have just released their first tape. The title of it is Red Tape, and the It'll Get Better team, familiar to regular viewers of LMC-TV. The festival ended with a dessert reception. Before we forget, the winners are...
I would like to announce that the winner of the People's Choice Award is Mamaroneck Centennial Programming Gloria Pritz.
This year's award show was another great moment in our community's television station. Without the LMC-TV staff, the many volunteers, and the sponsors, all of this would not have been possible.
And that's it for another edition of Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News. In case you missed any portion of this news program, you can see it again.
This program is on this very same channel Monday through Friday at 7 p.m. That's LMC-TV, Channel 14. Also, you can call LMC-TV and ask to see this week's news program.
The crew at LMC-TV will do their best to put the news show on at a time that you can see it. Remember, the number to call after 4 p.m., 698-6808, and ask to see the news show.
By the way, we're all volunteers, those of us who put this news program together, and we're always looking for extra help, and it's a fun give back to the community.
Drop by and check us out almost any Thursday night at the LMC-TV studio. We're located in the Mamaroneck High School building on the Palmer Avenue side, just up the stairs from Walter's Hot Dog Stand. We get things going around 7 o'clock.
Please send your comments and suggestions to us at Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, care of LMC-TV, 1 Library Lane, Mamaroneck, New York, 10543.
And thanks for watching Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News. I'm Roger Norum.
And I'm Alicia Myro. We'll see you next time.
And after last week, you probably thought summer was already here, but it's now a little over 3 weeks away.
As you watch the credits roll, you'll be hearing a Spanish poem recited by Blanca Salavera that relays the story of a flower dying without water and a butterfly that saves it by coaxing the water closer. Enjoy, and we'll see you next week.
Ahora voy a declamar un poema para los hispanos que me escuchan esta tarde. Se titula El lirio. Érase un lirio pálido y enfermo, que en el fondo de un bosque agonizaba, sintiendo los rumores de una fuente que en sus aguas el cielo reflejaba. Y el dolor infinito de ese lirio, que en el silencio a solas se moría, era tal que en su pétalo agotado ni una gota de esencia se escondía. Una tarde de estío abrasadora, extraviada tal vez, llegóse al lirio una blanca y gentil mariposilla, a la cual le relata su martirio. Hace tiempo que estaba abandonado, soportando una vida dolorosa sin que nunca llegara a acariciarlo una gota límpida, amorosa. De la fuente cercana solo oía el rumor de sus aguas deleitantes y la savia vital que le animaba se hacía más escasa cada instante. Conmovida la blanca mariposa, prometióle que pronto volvería y volando ligera hasta la fuente, contóle cómo el lirio se moría. Al instante, las aguas bullidoras se desviaron de su curso acostumbrado y bañando las penas del camino, llegóse hasta el lirio abandonado. Esa dulce caricia refrescante devolvióle a la flor su lozanía y en el fondo del bosque solitario se le vio sonreír con alegría. Desde entonces, la blanca mariposa lo visita diariamente y al posarse en sus pétalos admira su imagen reflejarse en la corriente. Así como la historia de ese lirio, de muchos seres es la historia, que sufren y sollozan solitarios sin que nunca le visite un alma amorosa. Felizmente existen en el mundo blancas mariposas conmovidas que llevan el consuelo a esas almas afligidas. Y tu alma que escuchas esta historia, haz siempre el bien sin fatigarte, que no hay cosa mejor en esta vida que hacer el bien sin esperar ganancias.
Thank you so much.
Some area residents signed a petition to block rezoning.
Witnesses saw an I-95 fatal accident.
Mamaroneck School District bus drivers at an impasse with district over a new contract. A fact finder is called in.
Rhinebeck Middle School gets another blue ribbon, this time from the White House.
Well, and Larchmont is more well off thanks to well-meaning citizens.
Mamaroneck Mayor honored.
Hammock's Middle School called home by some nesting birds.
Those stories and more and the latest weather report for our area this week. It's all on Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News. Welcome to another edition of Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News. I'm Roger Norum.
And I'm Alicia Myro. Our top story.
500 local residents sign a petition to uphold human service programs. Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Jenny Neumeister has more.
The Soundview News reports a local summit organization has obtained 500 signatures in a petition urging federal, state, and county elected officials not to destroy local human service programs through excessive funding cuts. The petition is one of several initiatives that are part of a community action program to strengthen the community in the face of government downsizing for human services funding. The local summit is sponsoring a public dialogue at 7:30 on June 10th at the Emlyn Theater on Library Lane in Mamaroneck to provide a sharing of ideas among local residents about what can be done to assure ongoing services for the poor, sick, homeless, disabled in the face of cutbacks. The local summit has also prepared a 50-page guide which contains articles on 45 government, private, and voluntary groups offering housing, health care, food, and other services for those in need, together with a list of 21 gateway organizations for shelters, community residences, halfway houses, and local houses of worship which offer assistance. The guide will be available to the public at the June 10th event. For Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, this is Jenny Neumeister.
Just the slightest rumor of a 90-unit housing development has driven more than 250 residents in Harrison and Mamaroneck to sign a rezoning petition. The area in question is an 8-acre lot off Mamaroneck Avenue in Harrison. The buzz is that representatives of Ginsberg Development Corporation presented plans for a 90-unit townhouse complex to members of the Winfield Area Preservation Association several months ago. Neighbors in the Winfield and Union Avenue area, as well as Harbor Heights and the Knolls, are worried about lower property values, school overcrowding, and town services being overburdened if plans to build across from the I-95 entrance are approved. Neighbors are starting the fight now, even before a developer files an application. Residents fought off plans to build a ShopRite and are ready to face another challenge if anything but single-family homes on 1-acre lots is suggested.
The state police are asking for your help regarding a fatal accident on I-95 a couple Thursdays back. They want any witnesses that may have seen a man run in front of a truck before dawn around 4:30 in the morning, May 23rd. The tractor-trailer rig was heading to Long Island when it hit the man who was running towards the truck between exits 18A and 18B. The man was taken to New Rochelle Hospital by the Mamaroneck Volunteer Ambulance Corps, where he was pronounced dead. The dead man is identified as 30-year-old Richard Chapline of Amherst, Massachusetts. According to state police, at the moment, it looks like an apparent suicide. Police say Chapline ran from the shoulder of the road across 2 lanes of traffic. Police say the truck driver says that Chapline seemed to run directly at him. The trucker has not been charged. The dead man left a 1990 Ford Ranger on the side of the thruway, 200 feet from the incident. If you have any information or know of any witnesses, New York State Police ask you call 769-2600. Alicia?
Well, the well wasn't well for a long time, but the well is real well now. Well, thanks to the welcome support of some well-minded people from the Larchmont Historical Society, Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Glenna Gray explains.
Well said.
Thank you.
Larchmont Historical Society's archivist emeritus, Bruce Allen, will officiate on June 1st at the dedication ceremony of a 100-year-old restored well in Manor Park. The restoration project honors the memory of Susan Spencer Marola, a past president of the Society and a director of Larchmont Mamaroneck Community Television. The original well could have been built as early as 1865. Ray Maldonado and Jim Fleming constructed the replica. Besides the well's dedication, 3 citizens will be recognized for their nationally known achievements in the area of American history and for their service to the Larchmont Historical Society. At the annual meeting, the Society will celebrate the works of Joseph G.E. Hopkins, a former editor at Charles Scribner and Sons, Philip H. Reisman, Jr., a retired film and TV writer, and Alton Toby, a mural painter. Congratulations, guys. This is Glenna Gray for Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News.
Mayor of Mamaroneck Village, Joseph Lanza, is honored by a community organization. Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Sven Ome has the details.
Mamaroneck Village Mayor Joseph Lanza was honored last week at a dinner of the Westchester chapter of the National Conference of Christians and Jews for the action taken by him in response to anti-Semitic graffiti spray painted on houses in the Oriental section of Mamaroneck. The National Conference of Christians and Jews was formed to overcome prejudice and promote the acceptance of diversion. Mayor Lanza was honored by the Westchester chapter of the organization in recognition of his quick response to the spray-painted anti-Semitic graffiti which shocked local residents. Lanza not only made it a priority for the police department to increase patrols in the area and undertake a thorough investigation, he was also one of the organizers of community-wide rallies at which anti-Semitic graffiti and ways to prevent and treat such incidents were discussed. Also honored at the dinner were 2 Westchester residents, Richard Laster for his service to the United Way of Westchester, the Westchester Education Coalition, and the Purchase College Foundation. The other honoree is Lee Katz for her work as Executive Director of the Abraham Fund, an organization that seeks to improve Arab-Jewish relations in Israel.
The union representing 85 bus drivers and custodial workers in the Mamaroneck School District say it's been without a contract since last June, and the two sides are far apart. So the union has called for a state fact finder in negotiations. The union negotiator is quoted in the Daily Times saying, all they want is a contract in line with the other unions in the Mamaroneck school districts. No demands have been made public. Once a fact finder enters the scene, though, neither side is obligated to find a settlement, but they would legally be sent back to the bargaining table for negotiations. A mediator from the State Public Employment Relations Board was called into talks in November, but the union says mediation was futile. Stay tuned.
Rhinebeck School gets a blue ribbon from the White House. Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Lisa Manning has the story.
Rhinebeck High School in Mamaroneck is one of the 4 schools in the area being honored by President Clinton as a National Blue Ribbon School of Excellence. In keeping with President Clinton's urging to school officials to hold their students to high standards, get involved, and provide technology, Rhinebeck High School and 3 other Sound Shore schools, including New Rochelle High School, the Ursuline School in New Rochelle, and Pelham Middle School, have achieved excellence. A key to Rhinebeck High School's success is the fact that every student must graduate with a Regents level diploma. This high standard has obviously paid off for Rhinebeck High School in that it has joined the ranks of the National Blue Ribbon Schools of Excellence. For Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, this is Lisa Catucci Manning.
Rhinebeck School goes to Washington to collect its Blue Ribbon of Excellence Award. Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Ed Stein has the banner story.
Rhinebeck School Superintendent Peter Mustick was in an upbeat, cheerful mood when I met with him recently. And why shouldn't he be? That day, he, along with high school principal Barbara Ferraro and school board president Alan Manichurian, would be traveling to the nation's capital to have Rhinebeck High School honored as a Blue Ribbon School of Excellence, one of only 266 schools in the entire nation. And if all goes as planned, the honor ceremony will take place in the Rose Garden of the White House, and he will be personally congratulated by President Clinton and the First Lady. Interesting that all 3 Rhinebeck participants had to go through a security check 2 weeks prior to the event. They were told what to wear exactly to the White House, and that they were told not to bring any cameras there, that the White House photographers and cameramen cover the events for each school represented. Mustick and I covered several topics, one in which Marty Rennert openly criticized the board and the administration during the last school board meeting, namely the announcement of newly tenured teachers. Rennert maintained that teachers up for tenure during a school term should be announced well in advance to allow for community input, not announced in May as a done deal. But Mustick explained that the tenure process is a 3-year monitoring supervisional process, and teachers who will not be offered tenure are told at the end of year 1 or year 2 the latest. That way the teacher will not be wasting his or her time in a losing situation. Anyways, by the time tenure is announced in Rhinebeck, it really is a formality. However, from now on, announcement will be made early in the fall of the school term of those teachers or administrators up for tenure. And that will allow for community input. This is Ed Stein for Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News.
Many teens going to their proms look for different and more interesting variations on the prom theme. And some students from Rhinebeck thought it might be fun to think back to the horse and buggy days. The story from Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Catherine Kaywood.
The 5 of you and one of your friends took a carriage, a horse-drawn carriage, to the Rhinebeck prom? Yeah. And this was a white carriage with white horses? Yeah. How did you get the idea for this?
We were running short of time for a limo, and we were a little scared, so Mom just said, well, what about a horse and buggy? And it was unique, and it was different, and we did the limo last year, so we decided to, I don't know, I guess take a chance.
Well, Vinny and Greg, what did you think of this idea?
It was different, very different.
Yeah, original.
Very, very original.
You enjoyed it?
Yeah.
Okay. How long did it take for you to get from your home to where the prom was?
Well, we left at what, 4 o'clock? Somewhere around there. And we got there around 7.
First we went to Manor Park.
Yeah, we took pictures.
So you have video footage of this?
Yeah.
What was the cost of renting the carriage?
It was $84 per person.
So that comes to a total of
$500.
$500. Would you do it again?
No, I don't know. I think it was just like a one-time thing. It would never be the same if we did it the second time. But it was definitely fun. I don't regret it.
Okay, great. Well, thank you for coming tonight and being with us.
Sure, no problem.
Okay.
Birds and the bees at the Hommocks Middle School. Well, at least the birds. The story from Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Carol Martin.
Remember Alfred Hitchcock's movie, The Birds? Well, it looks like Mamaroneck is reliving the revenge of the birds. First, hundreds of Canadian geese fouled Harbor Island Park in the village. Then geese homesteaded on the town's duck pond, eating grass and trying the patience of nearby neighbors. Now, nesting families of starlings and pigeons have mistaken Hammock School for a birdhouse. Principal Rick North said it happens every season. The birds can't be controlled. We just have to let nature take its course. The starlings set up nests in the cracks and crevices high up in the building's exterior. The pigeons nest on ledges. Sometimes birds are injured or die outside the buildings and upset children and parents. Often equipment is not available to save them because of the height of the nests. The buildings are swept periodically, but the best treatment for birds of a feather being together is to let them nest and wait for them to fly away. The birds rarely enter the building. Since nesting season generally lasts only 1 to 2 months, Mamaroneck and its people never go completely to the birds. For Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, this is Carol Martin.
We've been covering the dredging of Premium River for some time on this program, and it's in the news again. This time, the search is on for a place to deposit the contaminated mud from the river's bottom. The water flows freely after layers of muck were removed from the river a year ago, but the polluted silt is still being stored on plastic at the soccer field in Lorenzen Field Park in Larchmont. The mud contains elevated levels of lead, copper, and other pollutants that cause the state to classify it as contaminated. This being the case, disposal becomes a difficult and costly issue. The preferred place would be a modern landfill lined with plastic, but Mamaroneck Town has been unable to locate one without extreme costs. Other potential choices include using the mud as a filler under a parking lot to be built in New Rochelle, or as an ingredient for asphalt-making companies. While the mud's final resting place is still being determined, it is scheduled to be removed from the soccer field by the end of June.
Remembering our fallen heroes from past wars, Memorial Day in our area was commemorated with parades and ceremonies. More from Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Sharon Levy.
Memorial Day is annually celebrated in Larchmont and Mamaroneck in memory of those that gave their lives in every conflict the U.S. Armed Forces has been involved in. A solemn Memorial Day service was conducted by the Larchmont American Legion Post 347 in front of Larchmont's War Monument at Memorial Plaza, located at Chatsworth Avenue and Myrtle Boulevard. The Daughters of the American Revolution, Larchmont Fire Department, and the Veterans of Foreign Wars Post placed wreaths at the War Monument. Afterward, a 21-gun salute to the soldiers that gave their lives to our country was sounded. The Memorial Day Parade, which began on Chatsworth and Palmer Avenue, was led by the Larchmont Police Department and had hundreds of residents watching as bands, Brownie troops, veterans, the American Red Cross, and Bugle Corps marched in time. The parade came to a halt at Flint Park. Mamaroneck Village had a celebration as well. American Legion Post 90 held a parade that drew crowds an hour before it began. Our community has certainly honored its veterans, and thanks goes out to the American Legions, who after World War I took control over Memorial Day ceremonies. For Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Sharon Levy.
We're getting ever so closer to the official summer season. I bet you're glad to hear that. But with the cool temps of the past week, you'd never know it. What's it going to be like this week? Let's check in with our very own Larchmont-Mamaroneck Community News weatherman, Ed Muir.
Well, to say this has been a spring of fits and starts would be just about the understatement of the year. But after a nice-looking weekend, it looks like June's good start is going to continue into this week. The backside of high pressure is going to provide us with some southwesterly winds, boosting our temperatures well into the 70s. That will be ended, though, by a cool front coming through here on Wednesday, accompanied by showers. But the cool down really isn't going to be too bad, as temperatures will remain basically in the 70s, so there really won't be much of a cool down at all. It's just a cool front in name. So anyway, the pretty nice-looking 5-day forecast looks something like this. Monday, mostly sunny, high of about 76 degrees. Partly cloudy, but raise it a few degrees for Tuesday. But we do see the chance for showers on Wednesday, but still mild, high of about 75 degrees. A little bit cooler, partly cloudy, high of 74 degrees on Thursday, but we end up the week on a very nice note, mostly sunny, high of 77 degrees. So we've got sort of a symmetrical weather week with the best days on either end of the week. And we also hope it's the end of all our chilly, cloudy weather that's been plaguing us recently. Part of the same system that gave Vermont up to 6 inches of snow as recently as last Thursday. I think that we've finally gotten all that nonsense out of the way. And at this point, the only fly in the ointment is that we've got a lot of mosquitoes, but I think by this point, we're pretty much used to not getting our weather way. So till next time, for Larchmont-Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Ed Muir. Enjoy the weather.
Mamaroneck Historical Society is honoring one of its members, William Frazier, at the Historical Society's dinner on this Sunday, June 9th, at the Orienta Beach Club. Bill Frazier is being honored for his 30 years as a volunteer fireman and his work with area veterans and reuniting them with their bomb groups or squadrons from World War II. Larchmont-Mamaroneck Community News reporter Jenny Neumeister had the opportunity to speak with Bill Frazier. Jenny?
Well, Ginny, I got typecasted painting firehouse doors. It started in 1976 when we decided to put something on our door at Halstead Manor in honor of the country's birthday. And I put an eagle on the door. And there's a story that goes with this. Part of the picture on the door has a little plaque at the bottom. It was donated to, or dedicated to Irene McGlinchey, who passed away at 9 years old. It seems there was a lot of children that would gather around while I was painting the door. They would come around each evening, sometimes 5 or 6 of them. And I asked them, how would you like to have this door dedicated to Irene? And next thing I know,
you did the plaque.
I did the plaque. They were all excited about it. And
that's wonderful. Now, you also did another door.
Yes. Next was Hook and Ladders. Hook and Ladder was 100 years old in 1984, and so we did a scene of the village, the way it would have looked around the turn of the century, and that was a fun project because a lot of research
went into that. That can be seen, that mural can be seen where?
It's downstairs in the Hook and Ladder, in their game room downstairs on Mamaroneck Avenue.
At the firehouse?
At the firehouse, at Hook and Ladder's firehouse. They have it hanging up downstairs.
That's great. Now, you've done some work with the veterans, also through the fire department.
Yes. Well, one time we found out that we had several veterans in the fire department. They were World War II veterans, and after the Battle of Guadalcanal, a lot of these, when the smoke cleared, a lot of them ran into one another over there, and so we did a little show for them. I found all the tapes I could obtain about Guadalcanal and Peleliu and the different battles that they were involved with. And it started out that way with the veterans.
And now they get together quite often, I understand. So now they're honoring you for all of this, and you're having a good time doing it?
Oh, yeah, I really enjoy it. In fact, I probably enjoy it more than they do.
Well, thanks very much for coming on the show.
Thank you.
Ding, ding. Round 2 in the Rhinebeck School Board election shoving showdown. Larchmont-Mamaroneck Community News reporter Ed Stein has the latest update.
Now the latest on the unpleasant subject in Rhinebeck of the Jeff Grant Marty Rennert set to on election day of the school budget. From 2 reliable sources, we have this new twist. Jeff Grant did not assault Marty Rennert. it was Marty Rennett who assaulted Jeff Grant. And Jeff Grant has 3 quote-unquote unimpeachable witnesses who will testify to this, while Marty Rennett has 4 witnesses who will testify to the opposite. According to the Jeff Grant witnesses, Rennett loudly criticized Grant for being inside the voting area at that time. Rennett grabbed Grant by the shoulders, yelling at him, "What are you doing here? You don't belong here." Thereupon, Grant, without a word, just brushed right by Rennett. Now, if you watched my interview with Marty Rennett 2 weeks ago, Rennett demonstrated how he was slammed into by Grant. Grant, by the way, still declines to be interviewed here on LMC TV. Needless to say, Rennett is furious, enough so that he wrote a letter of complaint to Mamaroneck Police Chief Flynn, and he carbon copied the Mamaroneck Mayor, Joe Lanza, an Assistant District Attorney from White Plains, and even Janet Reno. As Betty Davis once said, fasten your seatbelts, it's going to be a bumpy ride. This is Ed Stein for Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News.
Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Jamie Stein goes medieval and visits a local night spot.
Can you imagine opening a place in 1965 and still owning the place in 1996? Well, that's the story of Frank Bastone, owner of the Night Spot in Mamaroneck. So let's find out Mr. Bastone's story. So Mr. Bastone, how does it feel to have owned this place for 31 years?
Great. I like it. That's why I've been this long here.
Now I noticed, and you've probably noticed, that there's been many changes throughout the 31 years. I'm sure drink prices have inflated. What else?
Tax, rent, everything.
The crowd, what do you think? Is the crowd still different?
The crowd, I think I have a better crowd than I ever had before, right now. The crowd changes over about 4 years. People move out, new people come in, the young get old and drink, and the old get married and disappear.
Has it always been the Night Spot?
No, first been the Volcano Italian restaurant.
Oh, so there was a restaurant where those tables are.
When I open as a restaurant. Okay, after that, in 1974, when everything changed, I had to redo the kitchen and a lot of stuff, you know. It was too much for me, so I went back to have a bar, and I closed the restaurant in 1974.
1974 is when you
started Night Spot.
And why'd you choose the Night Spot, spelled K-N-I-G-H-T?
The reason is because there's never business in the daytime, and business is on night. That's why I choose the name of the Night Spot.
Now you'll catch Frank here at the Night Spot every single day of the week from 4 p.m. until
4 in the morning.
Until 4 in the morning. I noticed on Sundays that you have a pool tournament. Tell me about that.
Well, the pool tournament is people enjoy playing pool, and brings a lot of people in. It's create a very good atmosphere. Everybody have a good time.
And what about the jukebox? Does it have any music from the 60s?
No, I don't think so. Maybe
Frank Sinatra?
Frank Sinatra, maybe a few the CD. Frank Sinatra, yes.
Now, some of the decor goes back 30 years, I'm sure. What about the bar?
The same thing. It's the same since I opened. 31 years, it never changed.
Well, congratulations. And what's going to happen this month at the Night Spot in honor of your anniversary?
Well, we're going to have a food. That will be Saturday the 1st of next month. We have a food, and that's it.
Oh, and you can also purchase this T-shirt.
Yes.
Which I am wearing, that I paid to support Frank's 31 years in Mamaroneck.
Some real estate agents are stepping up to the window of technology when it comes to buying and selling homes. For more, here's Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Joan Brescia.
Real estate agents have been criticized for not being on the cutting edge of technology. Things are changing, as real estate broker Laura Stichter of Houlihan Lawrence can tell you. Thanks to her laptop computer and cell phone, she sold 2 houses from her seat at the U.S. Open last year. She received calls from buyers with bids and worked out the details of the sales without ever missing a game. Brokers are encouraging agents to make the $2,500 to $5,000 investment and buy laptops, or notebooks as they are sometimes called. They can be used to make schedules, keep track of buyers, write notes on listings, do desktop publishing, and compare house prices. The laptop computer is quickly becoming an invaluable marketing tool for the real estate profession. It is likely that agents who do not know the technology will be left behind. For the Larchmont-Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Joan Brescia.
And that's it for another edition of Larchmont-Mamaroneck Community News. In case you missed any portion of this news program, you can see it again.
This program is on this very same channel Monday through Friday at 7 p.m. That's LMC-TV, Channel 14. Also, you can call LMC-TV and ask to see this week's news program.
The crew at LMC-TV will do their best to put the news show on at a time that you can see it. Remember, the number to call after 4 p.m. is 698-6808. And ask to see the news show.
By the way, we're all volunteers, those of us who put this news program together. We're always looking for extra help. It's a fun give back to the community.
Drop by and check us out almost any Thursday night at the LMC-TV studio. We're located in Mamaroneck High School on the Palmer Avenue side, just up the stairs from Walter's Hot Dog Stand. We get things going around 7 o'clock.
Please send your comments and suggestions to us at Larchmont-Mamaroneck Community News, care of LMC-TV, 1 Library Lane, Mamaroneck, New York, 10543.
Thanks for watching Larchmont-Mamaroneck Community News. I'm Roger Norum.
And I'm Alicia Myro. We'll see you next time.
And looking to summertime, it's now less than 20 days away. And this reminder, as we leave you, you'll be seeing some video from the Memorial Day Parade as it marched through Larchmont.
Forward, forward. Right, face. Ready. Hey. Fire. Ready. Hey. Fire.
Mamaroneck senior citizens get a tax break.
Larchmont prosecutor commits suicide.
A brother to testify against his own brother in the Mamaroneck burglary case.
Another way to handle the Canada geese problem?
Stone crusher steams I-95 neighbors.
Updates on the old schoolhouse at Harbor Island and the Mamaroneck Village Bike Cops.
Plus our very own weather report and other features all here on Larchmont-Mamaroneck Community News. welcome to another edition of Larchmont-Mamaroneck Community News. I'm Roger Norum.
And I'm Alicia Myro. Our top story, senior citizens in the village of Mamaroneck find some relief from local property taxes. A new law increasing income limitations for the seniors was passed unanimously. For more on this story, here's Larchmont-Mamaroneck Community News reporter Carol Martin. Senior citizens in the village of Mamaroneck who have been hard-pressed by local property taxes are about to get some relief. Passed unanimously at the village meeting May 29th, a local law increasing the maximum income limitation on real property tax exemptions was extended to certain persons 65 years of age or older. Those with incomes of not more than $17,500 can receive a tax exemption of 50%. Those with incomes greater than $24,099 but not more than $24,999 can receive a tax exemption of 10% of their real village property taxes. Similar action was taken by town and county governments. The exemptions, however, do not apply to county sewer and garbage levies. For Larchmont-Mamaroneck Community News, this is Carol Martin.
A brother is to testify against his own brother in last April's break-in and beating in the village of Mamaroneck that also allegedly involved a New Rochelle police officer who is also a Mamaroneck resident. More on this continuing story from Larchmont-Mamaroneck Community News reporter Catherine Kaywood.
On April 3rd, Michael Golly, Jason Cadebo, and New Rochelle police officer Matthew McCarrick, all of Mamaroneck, broke into a basement apartment on Halstead Avenue. After they beat the apartment resident and his girlfriend and took $500, the three got away in a vehicle driven by Dean Golly of Mamaroneck. In May, a Westchester grand jury indicted Dean Golly's older brother Michael, Officer McCarrick, and Cadebo in the break-in. The 21-count indictment charges these three with first-degree robbery, first-degree burglary, and second-degree assault. However, Dean Golly agreed to testify against the three other men, including his own brother, as part of a plea bargain that would give him 5 years probation and would save him from having to spend any time behind bars. So the idea of Cain and Abel, or of brother against brother, continues to this day, and it happens right here in Mamaroneck. For Larchmont-Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Catherine Kaywood.
Mamaroneck residents living north of I-95 on Rockledge, Highview, and other streets are focusing their ears on the noise created from the thruway. The concern is that a planned sound barrier installation on the south side of the interstate will send highway noise ricocheting into their homes louder than ever before. Some residents have asked the Thruway Authority to conduct a comprehensive noise study before installing the barriers. A Thruway Authority spokesman has said that in a previous test done in New Rochelle, sound barriers erected on only one side did not increase noise levels on the other. Not all residents agree, of course. Some said that the noise problem got worse. Mamaroneck residents were able to voice their concerns at 2 recent Board of Trustee meetings, and the village sent a letter to the Thruway Authority requesting a sound study before any barriers are installed. We'll bring you more on this story as it develops.
A suicide tragedy in Larchmont. 37-year-old Mark Kenny of Larchmont, who was a village prosecutor for the past 7 years, was found dead Monday afternoon, June 3rd, in the garage of his parents' home at Lookout Circle in the town of Mamaroneck. He was found in the car with the engine running. The Westchester County Medical Examiner said Kenny died from carbon monoxide poisoning and ruled the death a suicide. Kenny was a partner with the firm of Clifford, Purvis, Acito, and Kenny. He was one of the 3 Village of Larchmont prosecutors who handle violations of village ordinances. He was a 1976 graduate of Mamaroneck High School, also of St. Lawrence University and Fordham Law School. Mark Kenny was also a volunteer fireman in Larchmont and a member of the Larchmont Shore Club. He was engaged to Candace Serifman. Mark Kenny dead at 37.
Clarkstown, up in Rockland County, Town Supervisor Charles Holbrook told Larchmont-Mamaroneck Community News that they have received a lot of public support for their plan to diminish the goose population, which has raised havoc with their parks, playing fields, and other recreational areas. For more, here's Larchmont-Mamaroneck Community News reporter Ginny Neumeister.
After wrestling with the overpopulation of geese for years, the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service approached the town supervisor and suggested an approach that has been tried successfully in the Midwest. Licensed wildlife persons from the town will provide the manpower to round up the geese under the supervision of the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service and the DEC. The geese will then be processed for food. Supervisor Charlie Holbrook and his town board feel this is a rational solution to this problem. We are not trying to eliminate the migratory species or destroy all of the geese, but we must reduce the population, he said. I also spoke with John Major, director of the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service in Albany, who indicated that the public needs to understand that overpopulation of geese or deer is not a healthy mix for the animals or for the people, and they will assist communities who are anxious to try this method of population reduction. There is a considerable goose population in Mamaroneck and Larchmont who also have tried various methods of discouraging the geese from settling in. However, they only seem to be moving them from one place to another. So if Clarkstown's project is successful, it could be the model for all communities to follow. For Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, this is Ginny Neumeister.
A stone crusher is making some Mamaroneck residents feeling like throwing stones to silence the stone crusher. The stone crusher is used at the Mamaroneck interchange of I-95 on Mamaroneck Avenue. It breaks down concrete and asphalt and has the side effect of blowing clouds of dust and sand into the air while it's operating. Residents from Harbor Heights to Washingtonville complain it leaves a coating of dust on and in their homes that is annoying, to say the least. Some of them say it's cost them hundreds of dollars to clean the dirt off their homes. Others say it's not healthy and has boosted their doctor's bills because of respiratory problems caused by the dust clouds. Yonkers Contracting, which is doing the thruway repair work, says it has been spraying water around the stone crusher to keep the dust down, but apparently it's not working all that well. Mamaroneck Mayor Joe Lanza says he's written to the Thruway Authority about the problem. The Daily Times says the Thruway people say they have not gotten a letter from the mayor yet, and that's where the matter stands. And the stone crusher keeps crushing stones while the nearby residents feel like crushing the stone crusher.
Well, it looks like it may be a rocky road ahead.
Ooh, that's very good. Stone crusher and all.
It was a day of pride and celebration on Weaver Street across from Saints John and Paul a couple of Saturdays back. The June 1st open house of the newly renovated Weaver Street Firehouse, the only firehouse in the unincorporated area of the town of Mamaroneck. There was a marching band, bagpipes. Speeches of congratulations from many, including Mamaroneck Town Supervisor Elaine Price.
While this project was never an anticipated aspect of your volunteer service or job description, yet all of you have risen to the occasion and created a lasting testimony to love of community you so proudly serve. The supervisor and town board could not be more proud or appreciative of your talents, energy, dedication, and service to the town of Mamaroneck. We thank you all.
All in all, a great day to show off something the town of Mamaroneck can be proud to show off, the Weaver Street Firehouse.
Oh, hey. Thank you all for coming. Thank you very much. Company dismissed.
Old anchor, and not yours truly, finds a home on the shore in front of Larchmont's Village Hall. To describe this historical find and the plans for its restoration, here's Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Lisa Manning.
After reading in the Daily Times about an old anchor which was hauled up from the Long Island Sound, I had the opportunity to see the anchor firsthand. Weighing several hundred pounds, the anchor was caught in one of the lines of the lobster traps set by lobsterman and Larchmont resident Clint Saylor. I visited the home of Rob Snedeker, the president of Larchmont's Historical Society, who has volunteered to restore the anchor. Snedeker is no neophyte when it comes to projects involving restoration. He is chairman of the board of the J Heritage Center Restoration Project in Rye on the Boston Post Road National Historical District. This project involving the anchor entails Snedeker's carefully chipping away at the rust, corrosion, and barnacles which have formed on the anchor, which is estimated to be dated back to the late 1800s and which is thought to be a yachtsman's anchor. In the backyard of his Larchmont home, Snedeker described the different parts of the anchor, pulling off barnacles and pointing out where metal actually showed through. Once restored, thanks to Bob Snedeker, the anchor will be placed near the flagpole in front of Larchmont's Village Hall. For Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, this is Lisa Catucci Manning.
County officials are talking about establishing an anti-bias unit to handle hate crimes. More on the story from Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Joe Haviland.
Anti-bias crime unit in the county? That's what Westchester County District Attorney Janine Pirro wants to see throughout Westchester, particularly in the wake of a series of incidents in which swastikas and anti-Semitic graffiti were found in Mamaroneck and Larchmont. The problem is finding the money, an estimated $200,000 a year to support an assistant district attorney and 2 investigators. The proposal by Pirro isn't new. It was first presented by her this past winter. At that time, County Executive Andrew P. O'Rourke pleaded that the cash-strapped county did not have the money to fund the unit. He recommended Pirro find the necessary dollars in her own $14 million budget. In a Daily Times interview, Pirro's spokesman, David Herbert, said if money were available in her budget, she would have created a bias crime unit. Recently, county legislators came together and unanimously approved a resolution urging O'Rourke to immediately provide the money necessary to pay for the unit. Legislator Robert Darcy, who chairs the Committee on Public Safety, says it's time for the other shoe to drop. He mentioned the legislation enacted this past spring requiring local police departments to report bias incidents. He felt it didn't go far enough providing backup with the district attorney and staff to prosecute the criminals arrested. Says Deputy County Executive Neil DeLuca, I have no doubt that the DA's office will have an anti-bias unit, mentioning that the O'Rourke administration would cooperate in upcoming talks. For Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, this is Joe Haviland.
Fundraiser for supporters of Planned Parenthood. Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Carol Martin has details.
22nd house tour to benefit Planned Parenthood of Westchester Rockland took place on Friday, June 7th. Those who shared the tour visited 6 houses from a mini castle to a contemporary stucco overlooking Manor Beach. The day included a craft fair at Oriana Beach Club and a tea with scones and tarts. Sarah Bernstein and Deborah Schoenall organized the tour and are trying to increase the participation of younger volunteers. Those that have organized this tour for 22 years are a close-knit, informal group of friends and neighbors. Invaluable older volunteers and young alike worked side by side for this important effort. The included houses were a mini castle in an English Tudor style, a contemporary stucco with tiny windows that act as an hourglass when the sun shines, a restored Victorian with harbor views, and 3 colonials, one with a unique porch, another with a contemporary art collection, and a third filled with English and French antiques. For Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, this is Carol Martin.
Good news for shoppers in Mamaroneck. There are a few more spaces for you. The Mamaroneck Village Board of Trustees has approved installing meters in the Spencer Avenue parking lot behind the Payless Shoe Store off Mamaroneck Avenue. Meters will be put at 23 of the 46 spaces. The other half of the parking lot will be kept for permit holder parking. Mamaroneck Village Manager Michael Blau says the meters will probably be up and working by the end of the summer. It's not clear yet how much of a dent this move will make in the village parking problem, but some of our observers say it's better to have the extra spaces than not any. Even if it's only 23 of them. Meantime, the search for available parking space on a busy day in Mamaroneck Village continues until the Spencer Place meters are up and working.
Well, guess what? It's that time of year for the big St. Vito's Festa behind Mamaroneck Avenue School in the village of Mamaroneck. Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Jamie Stein with the report.
On June 14th, 15th, and 16th, and the following weekend, June 21st, 22nd, and 23rd, the Church of St. Vito's in Mamaroneck is holding its annual St. Vito's Bazaar. There will be nightly raffles, and the main raffle this year will be for $10,000. Couldn't we all use that? Of course there will be boosts of chance and rides for the kids, but for me and most of the people here at LMC News, the real reason for attending the St. Vito's Bazaar is the food. Homemade Italian food. Guaranteed good times for the whole family. Don't worry, you can always start that diet after the bazaar is over. Those dates again for the St. Vito's Bazaar are June 14th, 15th, and 16th, and the following weekend, June 21st, 22nd, and Sunday the 23rd. See you there. For Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Jamie Stein, and I can't wait to taste that food.
The local summit, a group of residents who came together last year to tackle poverty within our community, has published a pamphlet describing multiple agencies for people in need. It received its formal introduction at the local summit's second annual countywide meeting at the Emmeline and is entitled Human Services in Larchmont Mamaroneck. This information is being presented at just the right time, as Kathleen Copa, the director of Mamaroneck's Community Services Office, can attest to. With corporate layoffs on the rise, many families seeking assistance don't know where to turn because they've never had to ask before. Beverly Brewer-Villa, the director of the Community Action Program in Mamaroneck, which offers daycare, after-school activities, a food pantry, and clothing collections, supports the pamphlet as well. The pamphlet entries include a guide to a variety of agencies and services, listings for Larchmont Mamaroneck, countywide, government, and private groups, and is available at your local community service office.
If you're one of the fifth graders in the Mamaroneck School District thinking about what's it going to be like after graduation, taking that giant leap to the Hommocks Middle School as a sixth grader, many got a sneak preview. More on the story from Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Lisa Manning.
With torrential downpours threatening the Sound shore, fifth graders from Mamaroneck Avenue and Murray schools tossed balls and played games in the Murray Avenue school gym as they got to know each other. The children from these schools will be attending Hommocks next year. Games especially emphasizing teamwork and cooperation were planned by the teachers and PTA members, anticipating that these children would be future classmates at Hommocks. Mamaroneck school administrators approved the move of Mamaroneck Avenue and Murray Avenue school children last fall. Sixth graders at Central and Chatsworth Avenue schools will not move. For Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, this is Lisa Catucci Manning.
An old schoolhouse building that was transplanted last summer and now sits close to the Boston Post Road in Harbor Island Park. You may have been asking, when's it ever going to be completed? Well, Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Ginny Neumeister has the latest.
Driving by the West Basin side of Harbor Island Park in the village of Mamaroneck along the Boston Post Road, people have been asking when the old schoolhouse is going to get its final facelift. We spoke with one of the volunteers, Bill Fraser, and he's eager to report that all of the remaining building materials have arrived, the shingles have been started, and within a week or so, we should be seeing the beginnings of a chimney and a belfry. A school bell has been donated by Joe Germano, and St. Clair Richard donated a wood-burning stove. Con Ed has been contacted to bring in the electricity, and if the weather would just cooperate, all of the volunteer workers can get on with the restoration. John Quattrini promised to come in and talk with us soon to give us an overview or interview of what's going to be inside. For Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, this is Ginny Neumeister.
Students in the Mamaroneck High School's music department participated in its annual fundraiser, the Music Marathon. For more on this exciting event, here's Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Carol Martin.
A few weeks ago, students in the Mamaroneck High School's music department participated in its annual fundraiser, the Music Marathon. For weeks leading up to the event, members of the Music Honor Society solicited sponsorships for the 10 hours of songs, recitals, and performances. Proceeds went to the Multiple Sclerosis Foundation and to the Dan Bingley Scholarship Fund, named in honor of one of last year's graduates who died of meningitis while away at college. Sponsors were invited to spend time listening to the school's orchestra, stage bands, choral groups, groups, jazz bands, instrument ensembles, and a rock group that's popular with the students. Next year's event will also be run on the first Saturday in June. For Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, this is Carol Martin.
Whether or not you like the weather, it's time now for our very own weatherman, Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News weatherman, Ed Muir.
There have been so many times this spring when it looked like we were finally turning the corner only to regress in our weather. And even though it's June, it looks like we're going to hit another one of those little mini weather slumps again. There's going to be a stationary front that's going to be in our proximity, and early on in the week it's going to give us a chance for showers. Now, a majority of those 2 days will be dry, but you can't rule out a shower either day, and overall it's not going to be too good. But that point will be moot because after that, the rest of the week will be steadily improving. So the 5-day forecast looks something like this. Monday, mostly cloudy. You can't rule out a shower, high of about 75 degrees. We do keep the showers in the forecast for Tuesday, high of about 76, but Wednesday looks pretty nice, partly cloudy, high of about 79 degrees. The warming trend continues for Thursday, partly cloudy once again, high of about 82, and we peak out to end the week under partly cloudy skies, high of 83 degrees. So even though we're sort of staying in the April showers motif, at least our temperatures are a little more acceptable this time. And who knows, maybe after I leave, the weather will improve, as this is my last LMC forecast before I become a weatherman in Rapid City, South Dakota for KEVN-TV. I hate to think that I've been jinxing this weather, but after this winter, things really couldn't have gotten too much worse around here, and who knows, maybe they could get even a little bit better. So for the last time, for Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Ed Muir. Enjoy the weather.
And you have just seen Ed Muir's final report on Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News. He's also doubling up as a cameraman tonight, and we're going to ask him to put his microphone and routine down. Ed, come on out here. We understand you've gotten that big job in Rapid City, South Dakota, and we'd like to hear more about it. So come on around here and let's stand between us. And so where are you going and how'd you get the job?
Well, Rapid City, South Dakota is the place. It's KEVN-TV. It's a Fox affiliate out there, and I'm going to be doing weekend weather and weekday news reporting, producing, what have you. And unbelievably, the job was not posted. I just wrote a letter, kept after the guy. He liked my demo tape well enough, and I got the job. So I'm out here in a week and a half.
Perhaps our news signal reached all the way to Rapid City and he couldn't resist.
Maybe.
So, well, we'll miss you here. You've been here since how long?
End of '92, better than 3 years.
All right.
So.
And have you been training a replacement for you here? I mean, we need the weather.
Well, I know. Well, I'm sure that anyone here is really a fine candidate to replace me. I know that I'm not always right on, so it's definitely not a science. So anyone who wants to step in, I give them my blessing.
Yeah. Well, good luck. We've enjoyed having you on our news show.
Great working with you guys.
Thank you. Congratulations.
I'll miss everyone. So.
All right. Now the call letters again in Rapid City, and what channel if we're ever in Rapid City, South Dakota?
KEVN-TV. Fox affiliate. I don't actually know the channel number yet, but
we won't tell you, news director.
All right.
Thanks a lot, Ed.
A day-long seminar all about decorating houses was held recently in Larchmont. Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Glenna Gray with the story.
I'm having a relaxing day at a Day for Design at the Larchmont Avenue Church. Inside at this moment, there are speakers and panels going on. It will be a wonderful day to know what to do with your house. We will have presentations by people who will teach you for the indoors as well as the outdoors. And also we will meet with a lady who represents Habitat for Humanity, which will be the organization receiving some of the rewards of this show. Behind me at the podium now is Nan Seeberger. She is teaching us how to spruce up our gardens. It is for our own pleasure, and also it helps when you're getting ready to sell your home. The next speaker will be someone dealing with renovation versus restoration. After that, one room, two looks. It will be a wonderful day.
Habitat for Humanity is an international organization, and it is focus is to eradicate poverty housing in the world. Here in Westchester, we're doing our bit. We have one house that we completed in Larchmont itself on Weaver and Laurel Street, and we are very excited about a project coming up in White Plains, about to start by the end of June. 3 two-family homes on 3 separate lots, and our families haven't been selected as yet. As soon as we get the building permits, that process will start.
Where's the national headquarters for Habitat?
Habitat's headquarters are in Americus, Georgia, but there are affiliates, such as ours here in Westchester, in 1,200 areas in the United States alone. We are a very large organization.
Well, this is the end of the first annual Day of Design. Over 100 people came to see what was going on in the house and the outside, and how to renovate, and how to spruce up, and how to paint, and how to design. For Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, this is Glenna Gray.
Glenna Gray recorded that report last week, a day before her husband Vincent, of 32 years, was killed in a car and truck accident in the Bronx. Our deepest and heartfelt sympathies go to Glenna and her entire family, including her daughter Kimberly, who also is an ex-anchor of this program. It is doubly sad on this news program to also report the death of former Village of Mamaroneck trustee Peter Dorn, who was the father of another former anchor of this weekly news broadcast, Debbie Dorn. Our sympathies and condolences to the entire Dorn family, as well as from all of us and the staff of Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News and LMC-TV.
The Bike Cups of Mamaroneck Village, how are they doing? Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Ginny Newmeister finds out.
Patrolman Gerard Ferraro, welcome to LMC TV News.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. How long have you been a patrolman in the village?
10 years.
And a bicycle patrolman?
2.5 years.
You like it?
Yes, I like it.
And it gives you the chance to be outside with the people.
Yes, it does.
Now, tell me a little bit about the bike patrol and how many members it has.
Well, there's 5 of us, and we're community policemen. And we work 2 sections of Mamaroneck Village, one being the Mamaroneck Avenue Business District, and that's from the Post Road to Halsted Avenue. And then we have the Washingtonville area where we have 3 patrolmen working.
Now, I understand the people in Washingtonville requested the extra patrolmen.
Yes.
And are they pleased it's been effective?
Yes, I believe they are.
Good. Now, tell me a little bit about your bicycle.
My bicycle is a giant Sedona. It's a chromoly, very sturdy and durable, and it served me well.
Is it, of course, less expensive to repair than a patrol car?
Yes, it is. Yes.
Would you tell us what you feel the benefits of having a bike patrol are to the village as opposed to having the car patrol?
Well, I feel the benefits are it's a quiet, stealthy vehicle. We use it for person-to-person, relating with the community. We also use it for just going about and doing our duty, using it as a tool, other than walking.
And the public is in love with the bike patrol?
Yes, I hope to think so.
Well, thank you very much for coming on to our studio this evening.
Thank you for having me.
And that's it for another edition of Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News. In case you missed any portion of this news program, you can see it again.
This program is on Channel 14, LMC-TV, Monday through Friday at 7 p.m. Also, you can call LMC-TV, Channel 14, and ask to see this week's news program.
The crew at LMC-TV will do their best to put the news show on at a time that's convenient for you. Remember, the number to call after 4 p.m. 698-6808 and ask to see the news show.
Incidentally, those of us who put this news program together are all volunteers. It might be something you'd like to do as well. We're always looking for extra help, and it's a fun part to be part of the community.
Drop by and check us out almost any Thursday night at the LMC-TV studio. We're located in Mamaroneck High School on the Palmer Avenue side, just up the stairs from Walter's Hot Dog Stand. We get things going around 7 o'clock.
Please send your comments and suggestions to us at Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, care of LMC-TV, 1 Library Lane, Mamaroneck, 10543.
Thanks for watching Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News. I'm Roger Norum.
And I'm Alicia Myro.
With the official beginning of summertime less than 2 weeks away now, we leave you with some sights and sounds from our area.
The grand open house, June 1st, of the newly renovated Weaver Street Firehouse. Congratulations to the town of Mamaroneck. And our thanks to Joe Jablonowski and Sven Ume for shooting that video of the beautiful Saturday afternoon. Have a great week.
Wet and Wild burns and sinks in Mamaroneck Harbor. Trustee wants to know why the fireboat was not working.
Also, a controversy over a man arrested while trying to help out during the incident.
Will the ball fields of Harbor Island Park hear the crack of the bat this summer?
The Flandreau Cottage is back in our local news.
A suspect strikes a Larchmont police officer.
A Mamaroneck neighborhood park needs a facelift.
A look at the revaluation plan.
And here we go into our second week of the Mamaroneck St. Vito's Festa.
Those stories and an interview with Mamaroneck Town Supervisor Elaine Price.
It's all on Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News.
Hello and welcome to another edition of Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News. I'm Roger Norum.
And I'm Alicia Myro. Our top story?
The saga of the Wet and Wild and just what happened Sunday night, June 9th in Mamaroneck Harbor off the Beach Point Club Marina. We do know that a 30-foot cabin cruiser, Wet and Wild, became engulfed in flames in the harbor. Its owner, Stan Chmielewski, is quoted in the Daily Times saying he changed a filter on the boat's engine trying to get it to run properly. And when he went to start it, boom, an explosion and fire, and Chmielewski jumped overboard. He swam to safety while his boat drifted towards the Beach Point Club's dock. It started a fire on another boat, burning some ropes and a sail, and burned a portion of the dock at the club. As this was happening, a Beach Point Club member, Gerard Capel, jumped into the water and helped get the boat towed away from the dock. And that's where there's controversy. Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News spoke with a club member who arrived at the scene shortly after the boat was towed away from the dock.
Yes, it did burn the dock. The boat drifted from out in the channel right into the marina while the police boat circled in and the pumper on the fireboat wasn't working. And it lit the dock on fire. It lit a boat, the last boat in the marina, on fire. And, you know, people were terrified that it would start an inferno with diesel fuel and gas fuel and all those boats around. It seemed like it could really be a terrible situation.
The man who jumped in the water was arrested by village police and charged with interfering with the job of the police and firemen. Not so, says the attorney for Gerard Capel.
Mr. Capel contends that the police and fire department were not doing enough to protect the property of bone owners and people down at the Beach Point docks. He was interested in simply trying to get the burning boat, which had drifted into the marina, out of the marina, and was simply assisting in that respect.
And I presume you feel that he's been wrongly arrested?
Absolutely. I think most of the spectators that day will agree that he was the hero of the day. He was the one solely responsible for throwing the grappling hook, which happened to capture the vessel so that it could be towed away out of the marina to prevent further damage. And I think most people will tell you that he was wrongly arrested. It was unnecessary.
We asked Police Chief Ed Flynn to comment, but he said the matter is before the courts now, where it should be. Also, no comment from the Mamaroneck Village Fire Chief. However, Police Lieutenant Alexander Rakosi is quoted in the Daily Times defending the police arrest of Capel and confirmed the village fireboat was not working properly. Village trustee Archie Giannunzio has asked for an investigation as to find out why the fireboat failed. Also, if the arrest of Capel was warranted. Meantime, the remains of the cabin cruiser Wet and Wild is beached at the jetty at the entrance to Mamaroneck Harbor. And Gerard Capel has another court date next week. Stay tuned.
Larchmont police officer Dolores Suero was struck by a drunk driving suspect last week and treated for a back injury at New Rochelle Hospital Medical Center. Officer Suero was standing next to one of two police cars situated on Larchmont Avenue. The patrol car lights were flashing and Suero signaled the driver to stop, but instead he tried to squeeze between the police vehicles, pinning the officer to one car. The driver, Cesar Lira, continued on to a parking lot on Gilder Street, where he was arrested and charged with DWI and leaving the scene of an accident, both misdemeanors. Lira could have been attempting to reach home at 2132 Boston Post Road, just around the corner. By the way, Officer Suero was released from the hospital.
To update us on the latest developments in the town of Mamaroneck, Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News spoke with Mamaroneck Town Supervisor Elaine Price.
The firemen are now also asking for a new fire truck to replace an old one, I guess.
Yes, and old it is. In the life of a truck's history, it's about 30 years old, and it's in sad need of continual repairs, and it's just not a safe truck to drive any longer. So yes, they are. We're going to have to go out to referendum, hopefully September, for the fire truck. It's I think the approximate price is $450,000-500,000. And
it's a lot of money.
It is a lot of money, although it's less expensive than originally envisioned. The men have been shopping around and trying to get a truck that would be long-term and yet more cost-effective.
The Harmex pool and I guess the roller dome, now everything's in full swing.
For the next 5 years, we are going to be talking about recreation. And in our recreation brochure, the summer activities, we had the new renovations for the pool beginning in the summer of '97. That's going along well. It has gone through our boards and commissions, and hopefully we'll be opening up bids for in July or August. So if any resident would like to have an idea of what it's going to look like, all they have to do is look at our summer recreational booklet. It's on the front page.
Which has been sent out already?
It has been sent out, yeah.
And there will be some changes as to the town attorneys.
Yeah, we have had a search for a municipal attorney, and we've been working with the law firm of Robinson Silverman as environmental attorneys, and we've been negotiating with Judy Gallant, who's been working on the Bonnie Breyer litigation, and so she's well known to the town, she's well acquainted, and if it goes as expected at the town board meeting, she will be the zoning and planning attorney, and then she and the partner, Bob Davis, will be doing environmental matters. Judy has a degree from Yale, summa cum laude, and she has a degree from Harvard magna cum laude, Pi Beta Kappa, so she she's
qualified?
well qualified. She has worked extremely effectively with us on the Bonnie Breyer litigation, as I mentioned, and we're delighted that we think we're going to be able to work that out.
Yeah, that's good. One final issue, and that's really an ongoing story everywhere in our area, the problem with the Canada geese. And I guess there are always new proposals coming up, but most of them don't necessarily seem to be effective.
Well, I know that there's been some talk about Clarkstown rounding up the geese and feeding them to the homeless, and I have problems with it. I know the federal government had said, as a general proposition, and obviously they've changed their mind, these geese are not grain-fed, they're grass-fed, they're tough, there's no taste, it's not something you would want to do. But more importantly, I would not feed these geese to my daughter. And if I wouldn't feed them to my daughter, I don't think a homeless child should deserve less consideration. It's not quality control. You don't know what they've eaten. We do know what they're eating. They're eating grass that's been fed with pesticides, insecticides, and there isn't the quality control that you find in most products, whether it's chicken or beef. So I think there's a risk of a dual application in terms of certain population groups, which I find somewhat offensive.
So we should really be looking for a different solution.
Well, I'm not Clarkstown, so, but as a personal, if someone were to come to me and ask me would I consider it, the answer would be no.
Thank you very much for this update on what's going on in the town of Mamaroneck.
Thank you for having me.
Students exploring science. Sounds like a typical thing for them to be doing. To find out more, here's Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Sharon Levy.
22 Mamaroneck High School students work on their independent science research projects at home and after school. The topics range from the effects of aluminum on the human body to injury preventive athletic cleats. Admission for MHS students into the program usually requires participation in a special research class, open to freshmen. This meets before school. The high school researchers choose a topic in mathematics, life, or physical science, or social science, or psychology. The research program relies on one-on-one teaching and individual conferencing. 8 of the students in the science program presented their research last week to teachers, parents, and students. At a program at the Hommocks Middle School, the researchers were able to get the information by contacting people on the internet doing the same research as they were. The students hope to get the adult researchers to be their own personal mentors. In fact, science and math mentors are currently being scouted for students. People in the community who are interested in becoming a mentor for these motivated students should call Dr. Thomas at Mamaroneck High School. The phone number is 698-9000, extension 885. For Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, I am Sharon Levy.
It appears the once controversial Flandreau Cottage is getting a facelift and is in the midst of another controversy. Details from Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Lisa Manning.
Flandreau Cottage in the village of Mamaroneck is the center of a hot controversy. The issue is whether the 131-year-old cottage, one of Mamaroneck's last Civil War-era structures, should be converted into a nursery school. Carol Ann Kenning purchased the house on Mount Pleasant Avenue from St. Thomas's Episcopal Church earlier this year. Utilized as the church rectory for 25 years, St. Thomas officials sold the building when it became too large and too expensive to maintain. Overlooking Mamaroneck Harbor, the wood frame French Second Empire-style cottage is eligible to be listed on the National Register of Historic Places. Some village residents are less than enthusiastic about the plans for a nursery, since they believe it would be a misuse of a historic site. The zoning board is currently reviewing the matter. Meanwhile, residents anxiously await the board's decision. For Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, this is Lisa Catucci Manning.
Stanley Avenue Park in Mamaroneck is now looking for its turn to be renovated. Residents who use the facility have already collected 100 signatures on a petition which urges the village to refurbish. Equipment erosion is a big concern, with some dating back 30 years. Park maintenance and equipment needs are addressed on a rotating basis, and the village has recently upgraded equipment at Columbus Park, Jefferson Avenue, and Florence Parks over the past few years, and most recently the $2.5 million renovation of Harbor Island Park. Officials of the Recreation and Parks Commission and Village Manager Michael Blau will take a walk in the park and determine safety and maintenance needs. But in the meantime, it has been suggested that residents form a Friends of the Park committee to tidy up the park and lobby for improvements.
A property revaluation plan for the county is moving ahead, and Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Sven Ome tells us what to expect.
Since people started to complain about real estate taxes being too high, calls for a revaluation of the county's real estate have been heard. Recently, the Westchester County Board of Legislators adopted such a plan, and so did the state Senate. Now it's up to the Assembly in Albany to vote on it. Last year, the Assembly rejected a similar plan. The current proposal carries some additional provisions protecting homeowners. If the revaluation plan is adopted, what will change? According to the proponents of the plan, the revaluation will establish a system with a greater degree of fairness. Under the plan, communities can divide real estate into 3 classes: commercial property, 1 to 3 family homes and condominiums, and cooperative and rental apartments. Commercial properties would then be taxed at a higher tax rate. Condominiums would be assessed based on their market value.
Some bad news for smokers. The Westchester County smoking limits have been upheld. The story from Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Carol Martin.
Westchester County smoking regulation, the state's strictest law, is set to ban smoking in the eating areas of restaurants but allow patrons to light up in bars. Originally approved by the Health Board and set to take effect July 1st, it was delayed by Justice Matthew Coppola for 60 days until September 1st. This would give restaurants more time to implement the changes necessary to conform to the ban. A buffer zone of 6 feet or a barrier of 56 inches must separate bar and eating areas. Smoking in the bar section would only be allowed in those establishments where food service was less than 40% of total sales. A lawsuit was filed by the Empire State Restaurant and Tavern Association, whose members include Philip Morris, but was rejected when they failed to prove the allegation that the Board of Health did not follow state environmental laws in approving the ban. Non-smokers hailed the new regulation with a deep, full breath, while smokers exhaled in relief that there are still a few areas in Westchester where they can enjoy an entertaining smoke. For Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, this is Carol Martin. The Resource Foundation in Larchmont will hold its annual spring fundraiser next Friday. Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Sven Ome tells us more about this event.
The Resource Foundation, which is based in Larchmont, is celebrating its 9th anniversary this year, and it's holding its 6th annual fundraiser at Larchmont Yacht Club on June 21st at 8 p.m., and that's a Friday. The dinner dance, appropriately named Dancing on the Water, is a benefit event for the 25 member agencies of the Resource Foundation in Latin America and the Caribbean. The proceeds from the event help to finance the foundation's work on behalf of private not-for-profit community development projects in 15 countries. To date, a total of $2.5 million have been raised for the projects that the foundation is supporting. Tickets for this year's Dancing on the Water fundraiser on June 21st are $75, and for groups of 8 people and more, the price goes down to $60. For further information, call the Resource Foundation at 834-5810, 834-5810.
St. Vito's Festa last weekend and this coming weekend. To see what fun it is, Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Jamie Stein checked it out.
My mouth is still watering. What is it watering from? The Feast of St. Vito's, of course. As if you needed to be reminded, the feast, as I'm sure you are all aware of by now, has moved to the empty lot on Mamaroneck Avenue, formerly the site of the Pure Food Factory. The St. Vito's Bazaar starts at 7 p.m. on Friday and Saturday nights and goes to about 11. On Sunday, the feast starts at 6 p.m. and ends at 10 p.m. Moving to the new site has allowed the feast organizers organizers to double the amount of rides and attractions. Great news for all the kids who really seem to take advantage of the 15-ride Midway. But the main attraction for most residents is the food. The St. Vito's Feast is known countywide for its great Italian homemade food. The news crew is still complaining they ate too much, but admit it was well worth it. They'll be there this weekend too, filling up on all types of great food such as the pizza Frita. I could taste it, and my mouth is beginning to water again. So remember, to get to the Feast of St. Vito's this weekend, Friday and Saturday, 7 to 11 p.m., and on Sunday, 6 to 10 p.m. And if you see anyone from Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News online at any of the booths, say hello. For Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Jamie Stein, and I can't wait to taste that food again. See you there.
Some scholarships for local art students. Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Sharon Levy with the story.
Two graduating Mamaroneck High School seniors, Emma Stewart Teitelbaum and Kate Ritz, received PACE scholarships. PACE stands for the Performing Arts Curriculum Experience. The scholarship is awarded annually in visual arts and performing arts. The money for this PACE scholarship comes from interest earned on a $10,000 grant awarded to the school by the Rockefeller Brothers Fund. In the fall, Emma Stewart Teitelbaum will attend Oxford University, and she hopes to dance professionally. Kate Ritz plans to attend Maryland Institute of Art this fall. Emma Stewart Teitelbaum performed a modern dance routine at a Board of Education meeting. Kate Ritz's work was presented in a slideshow before she was awarded the scholarship. Sketches included a clear plastic bag filled with water and a close-up view of an elephant's skin. For Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, this is Sharon Levy.
Get ready to walk the streets of Mamaroneck Village as it prepares for a sidewalk sale. For more, here's Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Carol Martin.
The Village of Mamaroneck's Chamber of Commerce is holding its annual sidewalk sales, starting on Tuesday, June 18th through Saturday, June 22nd. Merchants will display their wares outside on the sidewalk. This event is traditionally known to local residents as Umbrella Days because of the brightly colored umbrellas that usually decorate the sidewalks. Those dates again for the Chamber of Commerce's annual sidewalk sale days in the Village of Mamaroneck are Tuesday, June 18th through Saturday, June 22nd. The rain date is Monday, June 24th. So come by and show your support for our area merchants. For Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, this is Carol Martin.
David's Island off the New Rochelle coast has a way of staying in the headlines. Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Catherine Kaywood has the latest on the former Fort Slocum, would have been Donald Trump's island.
David's Island could be viewed as a gold mine. For the city of New Rochelle, it could be a gold mine if sold to the right buyer. For environmentalists, it could be a gold mine if developed in an environmentally friendly way, such that the public could enjoy it. But for consultants, David's Island has been and will evidently continue to be a treasure chest. In evaluating Donald Trump's plans for David's Island, the consulting fees from legal, environmental, and zoning experts came to almost $200,000. Trump has already paid almost $146,000 of this, but there are almost $53,000 worth of fees yet to be paid. Trump wants all of his money back, including the money he paid for consulting fees and the $500,000 that he paid for the exclusive rights and a deposit. New Rochelle Mayor Timmy Doney has no intention of refunding any of Trump's money. But New Rochelle's city manager, Charlene Indelicato, notes that the consultants had a contract with the city of New Rochelle and that these consultants should be paid. When I spoke on the phone with Indelicato, she stated that it was not a matter of whether or not the consultants will be paid, but whether they will be paid now or in the future. Meanwhile, the city of New Rochelle is once again looking at a draft waterfront plan which has been sitting around for the last 20 months. This draft required public access to David's Island. However, the newer version of this plan does not. The consulting fees will be over $31,000, with the state of New York contributing $20,000 and the city contributing the remainder. We'll let you know more next week after a June 18th vote by the City Council. For Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Catherine Kaywood.
And that's it for another edition of Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News. In case you missed any portion of this news program, you can see it again.
This program is on Channel 14 LMC-TV, Monday through Friday at 7 p.m. Also, you can call LMC-TV, Channel 14, and ask to see this week's news program.
The crew at LMC-TV will do their best to put the news show on at a time that's convenient for you. Remember the number to call after 4 p.m., 698-6808, and ask to see the news show.
Incidentally, those of us who put this news program together are all volunteers. It might be something you'd like to do as well. We're always looking for extra help, and it's a fun way to give back to the community.
Drop by and check us out almost any Thursday night at the LMC TV studio. We're located in Mamaroneck High School on the Palmer Avenue side, just up the stairs from Walter's Hot Dog Stand. We get things going around 7 o'clock.
Please send your comments and suggestions to us at Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, care of LMC TV, 1 Library Lane, Mamaroneck, New York, 10543.
Thanks for watching Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News. I'm Roger Norum.
And I'm Alicia Myro.
Have a fun weekend at the St. Vito's Festa behind Mamaroneck Avenue School, and this year it's expanded to the Pure Food site across from the A&P. So it's something that's really exciting and fun. Also, anybody out there that might have video of that burning boat from a couple Sundays back, we'd sure like to see it here at LMC TV News. Give us a call at 698-6808 and tell us you've got some video. We'll be glad to pick it up, and we'll give it back to you. Thanks for being with us.
Yeah.